Hello all. Andrew, let's start.
Hello, hello. Let's get started. My name is Andrei. I'm here in SoftServe working as a business analysis competence leader or expert, whatever. So today I'm presenting you the our third webinar in this here in the series of Beacon, but this is the first webinar in the new design. So you may see that we have changed the colors. At least you can see it on my background, but right now I'm sharing the screen in order to start the presentation itself. By the way, we are broadcasting on YouTube as well. So if for the newcomers who are for the first time here, we encourage you to check all the previous recordings, because it's not the first time that we broadcasting something in this series, and we have the last year a lot of wonderful webinars. So if you haven't attended them, haven't seen them, so you're welcome to check them on our YouTube channel. Also, let's start with checking our chat. How does it work? So guys, you have an access to the chat, and you may just send a couple of words. Who has been here already? I mean, not in this webinar, but in this series. Who are the new ones? Who for the first time here? Who was presented here for some time? Just let us know in the chat. Wonder. Okay, one newcomer is first time. Nice to see you guys. Excellent. Okay, great. I hope you have a nice mood for today in order to listen to something new, and of course to get some kind of new knowledge, get some kind of new interesting insights, and so on. All right. Before we start, just a couple of words. Nice to be here. This is my 5th time already. Yay, Howard. That's great. Nice to see you here as our, let's say, subscriber. Cool. So before we start, for the newcomers, for the guys who are joining for the first time, just a couple of words about our company. So we are SoftServe. We are a technology company specializing in consultancy service and software development. We have a wide range of services, and we have a wide range of expertise in big data, IoT, cloud computing, DevOps, and so on and so forth. Also, we have quite great experience in different vertical domains. And as for the, let's say, horizontal and the expertise, we also have a great expertise in business analysis. So we established our business analysis office 12 years ago, as you may see, and right now we have more than 430 BAs across all 12 countries where we have presence right now. If you're interested to learn more about us and see our news, our updates, and how we live actually, yeah, so you can join LinkedIn or Facebook, subscribe on our news and updates. And one more thing is about our expertise that we are usually would like to share with all the community, all the BA community across the world. It's our courses. So first thing is, like, we right now we have one open courses. I mean, the courses, the group actually is open right now. So this is Business Analysis Foundation. It's mostly for those who want to join the business analysis community, to enter this family and so on. So if you know someone who would like to start this journey, please share this information. So we will be glad to see everyone here. This group starts already like this month in July. But that's not all, of course. We have a lot more courses. For example, we have quite great 10 key techniques when you can practice in different approaches and different let's say techniques during the 10 different master classes. They are actually organized as workshops and dive deep into the CPOA techniques that are presented in the product ownership analysis certification guideline. And also we have a quite great webinar, not the webinar, sorry, the preparation bootcamp, which will help you to be prepared to CCBA and CBAP certification from IIBA, and a lot of different more courses. So if you are interested in it, just check them in this scanning this QR code. You will see the landing page when you can see all the courses available, and you can just sign in and subscribe for updates, and in order to not to miss the date when we start running the new group. So you are welcome to start looking for the new courses and so on. But enough talking from my side. You are not only here about the updates, right? So let me introduce today's speaker. She's Joanna Labendovich. She's senior business analyst here at SoftServe. She's quite experienced leader with quite extended, let's say, and extensive background. Just imagine she has 19 years in finance and banking. Who else have this such kind of great background in some particular domain, right? And also she fit a lot of different roles, such as product owner, business analyst, and project manager. And of course, she has quite dedicated, solid experience being a BA in IT industry, and a lot of certifications. Yeah, which of them is one of my favorite is CPOA. I also know a handler of this one, and as you may notice, she's passionate about canoe trips and hiking. Please welcome Joanna.
Thank you so much, Andrei, for a really great introduction. And hello, everybody. I especially welcome those who are first time, because it is also my first time to give webinar to SoftServe community. And
Nice.
So then it's time that I steal the screen. And
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
The only thing that I would like to ask you, whether our participants would like to ask some kind of question. I believe they will in the chat. So are you going to check these questions and answer one by one, or maybe you would like to my assistance voice them out or something?
So I'll try to track it after each project type that I will describe. We'll be talking about 4. I will check chat, and if I had any issues or I don't see some questions, so I would like to ask for your help to read the questions for me. Okay, but let's start. Let's see how it will be. So please tell me when you see my screen.
I can.
Okay, that is so great. So yes, as Andrei mentioned, I had some experience, and I was in fact really lucky in my professional life to be involved in so many different project types. and therefore I could never get bored. I could extend different skills. And I decided to share my experiences with you today with hope that it might be of some indication to what to expect if you never did some kind of projects, but you are thinking to take on one. Due to time limit at today's meeting, I will not be elaborating in details on them, but let it be a handful of tips of my own experiences. If there are some of you who already performed this kind of projects, so you have for sure your own experiences, which might be different. And if that is so, then it would be great if you could share maybe on chat, and we would gladly see it. So I would know how you are guys about this kind of project. And yeah, that's mainly this introduction. This kind of project, this webinar is about different roles of BA in different project types, right? So this is the goal of our meeting today. And coming to new project type, you may sometimes feel that you may feel confused at the beginning, not knowing everything about its domain or specifics or what is expected from your role. And today I'll try to share a bit of specifics and my experiences on what you can expect in different project types. But however, no matter what project type you will be in, your role as a BA will always be identifying business needs and recommending solutions to help implement change in a way that delivers the greatest value to stakeholders in the context of the organization. So the well-known and probably in your hearts grown BA book icon showing the key business analysis concepts should be guiding you via all projects, but I will not dwell on today on BA book. Today, I want to mention that also what is universal to help us BAs to be successful is a BA skill set, right? If you have it, if you have these skills, you are so well equipped to rock in the projects. But if you don't have all of them, the good thing is that many skills you can learn. You can practice or develop by doing on projects if you make some efforts, especially domain knowledge and tools, right? But also the soft skills you can also try to train with different courses, different assignments. But we will not be discussing today about the skill set itself. I will just share which skills were most useful for me in different project types and which I needed to learn quite fast on projects. So I will only mention that probably most of you are fully aware of BA's responsibilities that are incorporated in our role. As you might notice, maybe soft-serving BAs while doing PECs, this is evaluation, performance evaluation. In some projects, it is hard to complete all areas, while other areas are more than enough covered. Right? This is because there will be different center of mass in different types of projects. I will not be talking today about performance evaluations either, but I try to indicate which areas will be most important in the projects and that we will be discussing today. So coming to the projects that we will be discussing today, there are so many project types you might be doing, especially if you work in a big, splendid software house like SoftServe. Today, I want to share my experiences on some of them, and it will be business process management projects, reporting projects, government projects, and professional services. So in fact, we could cover many webinars with this. So I'll not be going today into much details, just will highlight main characteristics you might encounter there and my experiences. of course, if you have questions, please raise them on chat, and I'll try to track them at least after each project that we discussed. All right, so let's start with business processes projects, and these are most common and most universal, I would say, projects, and these business processes can in fact occur in all project types that you are doing. Speaking about short definition of these projects, first type is business process management, BPM, and it is about monitoring and optimizing business processes in organizations. You will usually have 5 phases there. It will be design process, model it, execute, monitor, and optimize, right? For example, when I was a business owner of a process of proxies in a bank, so my responsibilities were to prepare a design for automation of this process, then to prepare all the requirements, model it, right, and execute, also cooperate very closely with developers and in testing, in stabilizing the solution, then monitoring what was implemented, tracking KPIs, if anything went wrong, reacting, analyzing, managing, correcting, and then optimizing. So this is the specifics of business process management projects. Then next type, subtype in this group would be BPA, business process automation projects, and it is about delegating some processes to IT systems that will perform them automatically. For example, automatic booking. I will tell more about this in a moment. But now just will tell maybe some obvious thing, but I will tell it anyway, that the best for automation are processes which are big in volume and standardized. And I will also tell a little bit more in a moment. And now the next subtype, this is RPA, robotic process automation. And it involves the creation of software robots called bots that will perform specific activities instead of human. Often when it is using AI, these bots can, for example, run various applications, log in automatically and open emails, attachments, copy and paste some data, even move files and folders, process data by following logical rules or making some calculations, extract data from documents, fill out forms, combine data from multiple sources. So here I'm not speaking strictly about AI, but about these robotic process automations. And you can encounter projects with one of these business process projects with one of these or more of these. For example, you may have been doing business process management and then having extension with business process automation, for example. And to say in the nutshell about these business processes related projects, first, as I mentioned, you should be prepared to design, model, implement, monitor, optimize, etc., the business process. And you should also be aware that this is constant, that the improvement is a constant one. So once you are managing the process, you will be doing it, right? You will not stop. You will be optimizing. The next important thing is that processes can be quite complex. In fact, whole organizations we can describe in processes. So it is obviously easy to think in details. You should always see the process as a whole. So you do models, you prepare models which should simplify reality and give you always the big picture of the process. Also, what is characteristic is that some processes can differ in different units or channels of service. For example, process of opening of bank account performed via internet or call center or branch can differ so much that it is easier sometimes to consider them as a separate processes. And you as a business owner or product owner, analyst, or whatever this role would be called in a project, you would need to manage the process as a whole, probably. And next is also maybe very simple stuff to understand, that to be able to manage the process and optimize it, you need to recognize it first. You need to know how the process works as is currently. So in practice, it was always useful for me to draw the process as is, and then after investigating what is to be done to model the same process in to be, I did it most effectively with swimline diagram. So I had pools. You can see on this slide this kind of diagram. So I modeled first as is state, then below I had as to be state, and it is so easy then to compare what is the difference between pictures, and it is also then easy for you to do gap analysis and then to prepare requirements, right, and transition requirements to add details, and this is very useful when speaking with business, when conducting such a project, right? I will tell more in the next slide, but now let me also tell about tools that you might be needing. You might need when you are doing this. For sure, this will be BPMN notation and UML. And there are really many splendid tools that you could use. I personally like the most the ones that you have in the browser, so which you don't need to download or install anything. The ones that are for free, like Draw.io, for example. I am using it because, well, not because it is the best, because maybe you encountered better tool. But I just started my adventures with modeling with this tool, and I stuck to it. If you have any other tools that you think are nice, that are very good, you could share maybe on the chat, and it would be interesting to get to know which you are using, right? And next, maybe last here, is about business process automation. Doing this, you for sure need some for automating for automating something, for doing something to work automatically. It must first work well. This is the basic rule. So, for example, if we want to automate the accounting process or whatever process, we will need first invest probably or check if the company has a good database to standardize data, even validate data entry points if needed. So ensure data quality, and then confirm if the business process works that needs any optimizations, right? So first you need to take care of the process so it was excellent at current form, and only then you can proceed to automations. And this was like the introduction to this kind of process. And now I would like to share with you my real life example when I first started modeling the process. Because when deciding on allocating time to create models or diagrams, you need to assess value that it brings. Sometimes it's not needed, but the other times it can be too hard or too risky not to do this artifact in the project. So now imagine that you have been given a task, a project to automate bookings on a bank loan, and you want to implement it efficiently without spending too much time on modeling. You are a great BA and you have great other techniques up your sleeve. So you did a little research and determined the initial scope. It includes customer repayment on installments and disbursements. And the process should be optimized because employees that are handling it complain that they don't work effectively, etc. So you conducted a workshop with users of this process to determine what can be automated and to collect just high-level requirements. And it turned out that the accounting process is performed not only by the accountants, but also by technical departments, which uploads manually bank statements, and the operations department, which manages contract information, several other departments, several other systems. And in addition, there are several recipients who should be informed in the end. For example, liquidity department, debt collection department. And since there are many exceptions, a few other systems and departments, and you listen and you ask questions, you try to write down the requirements in accordance with the best techniques and fashionable Gherkin methodology, but you are unable to understand the initial conditions because users keep saying to you something like that. For example, when I check the type of contract in the X database, but before I book it and send the contract to Hanya's department, I saved it in a file of the repayments so that Stefan's department knows. Unless the contract is from old portfolio, then no. And after 2 hours, you have a headache. I mean, I had a headache. And now imagine that you will have to discuss all these accounting processes and sub-processes in descriptive way. Write down these requirements for optimization, for automation, and then requirements for accounting, for the rest of products, and then communicate it to developers in a clear way and validate it with business in a clear way. So, here, after this workshop, I started diagramming immediately. I learned it because I just needed. It was my to be or not to be on the project. So I started a few years ago with this BPMN drawing. And this case is also an example of process automation, which shows the need to standardize the process in advance, optimize it, and create good database, standardized data entry points. So if we do not make a model at the beginning, it will be very stressful, I would say, and it will be very prone to do errors, mistakes, not understanding with business stakeholders, with developers, right? It will be frustrating. So here it shows that in such situations, this is really well invested time to draw a diagram. And now to summarize what should be expected from BA role in this kind of projects. So first, of course, it depends on the project specifics and the client's expectations, but generally you should simplify and standardize. You should keep complex things simple and concentrate on standard process paths. you shouldn't put exceptions in big picture, but rather enlist them, concentrate on standard process flow, and then decide how to deal with exceptions. And also you would be doing standard BA's work, like planning, eliciting requirements, of course, analyzing, producing stories for developers, etc., etc. But with a bonus, because you would be producing artifacts with different diagrams, especially swimline diagrams, models, etc. And as a picture says more than 1,000 of words, as they say, it is really worth investing time in drawing the process at the beginning, especially of the project, or in the situations when you want to start managing and automating the process. It is really worth before you have approved requirements, because it helps validating and approving requirements for easier communication with business. But also when there is a need to just maintain systems and processes, it is also very needed, very required to have diagrams. And yeah, in fact, from this perspective, it is always worth to draw. But in business processes, the next item is that there is always a place for optimizing. I mentioned it already, but I will tell you more. Of course, you must prevent scope creep. Because processes usually step when one starts, the other when one finishes, the other starts, etc. They are connected with each other, and you must always keep in mind what scope is decided for a project, because for sure you will meet some extensions, some different paths. So it is very important in this kind of projects to document very detailed what is in the scope, and where we finish with this project. And on the other hand, this is also a perfect occasion to propose to client a full backlog of further potential improvements for ongoing future cooperation, because it is really a lot occasions to have another parts of the processes to deal with. Okay. So this was what I wanted to share with a very big detail, with not detail, but very generally on the first project type, which is business process management. So now I should quickly check the chat if we have some questions. Oscar said that there is planned UML, nice tool. Thanks. I will check this later. Thank you so much. Yeah, and I heard about Camunda that Victoria mentioned. Camunda is also a very great tool for cooperation. So this is really good. Thank you. Thank you guys for sharing that. All right. I will proceed to next project type. If you meanwhile have any questions, so also please share. I will check them later. And now let's talk about reporting projects. Reporting needs are very wide and common in organization, and they help in taking business decisions. The faster the managerial information, the sooner the proper actions can be implemented, and so on and so on. Everybody knows they are important, and there is a lot of reporting projects, in fact. So there is a big chance that you will step into one. And some companies, for example, those listed on stock exchange, are obliged to publish timely main reports like income statements, balance sheets, cash flows, etc. And of course, the more complex the company, the more time and effort it takes to produce a report manually. So you see how important it is to have good reporting solutions. And there are also many different kinds of reports, and you can show, in fact, performance of the whole company with different reports. And sometimes you might be doing different project, not reporting one, but a part of it may be reporting. Maybe reporting about connected with solution that you are doing. So sometimes you might also find useful this kind of knowledge, even if you are doing something else. So let's proceed. And in a nutshell, the main issue about reporting is that reporting projects are not only about reporting. This is a tip of the iceberg, in fact. You need to go all the road, starting from business process identification, data sources identification, data destinations, integrations, identification, mappings, preparation, data quality, and then migration. So sometimes you will need to build good data warehouse first. You would need to standardize business processes, validate inputs, and what can we say? We often say that data digging lovers can thrive, that introverts would thrive on this kind of projects because there is a lot of digging in data that you can, be in that. But in fact, don't think that if you don't like people, don't like interacting, this is great for you, hide away, because it's not so. Of course, you would be doing a lot of digging about data, because data issues always happen. You will be digging to find root cause, and the root cause of the problem can be in solution or in logic used or in code or in business data quality and maybe somewhere else even. But when you identify that it is connected with business process, with business data quality, it requires cooperation with business and communication as well. And sometimes you would need to, review and improve business process, which can be wrong, and this can result in wrong data. Very often it can happen. And speaking about technical skills that you should have, of course, it is a good advantage if you know a little bit about databases, about XML or SQL, even on the very simplest level with writing queries, at least. And it is great if you know something about ETL, and because very often currently Power BI is at demand, so it is also an advantage if you know anything about Power BI dashboards and etc. But if you don't have it all, you can also learn it on the project, right? When you are doing for the first time this kind of project, you will for sure learn. And what can we say about BA role in this reporting? So first, of course, depending on project phase that you stepped in the project, but generally it will be all normal standard BA's activities like scope, identification, planning, eliciting, validating, testing, stabilizing, etc. And additionally, the artifacts that you could be especially you would need to do would be related with data. So also in reporting, you would need to prepare data model, right? Data models, data mappings, data dictionaries, and these kind of artifacts. And very useful artifact to show database design is ERT diagram, entity relation diagram that we have in UML notation. I screenshotted for you here this kind of diagram. it really, in a very nice way, shows everything, all the logic of data. It is really appreciated by data engineers. And also SQL is very useful to use. And XML, it is good to know how to read schema, as you will be able to better, more precisely describe requirements for developers. Also, it is helpful to know basic data concepts like unique identifiers, primary key, foreign key. It's great to know about data formats, strings, integers, etc. And from my own perspective, in this kind of projects, a few years ago, I have learned SQL and XML on my first reporting project. We had a great data architect, so I didn't need to do earth diagrams then. I just provided business logic. And my main role was, however, to help business to describe, analyze, improve business processes for this project. So I used mainly BPMN. And in the other project that I was in another role. I was concentrating on providing requirements for data engineers. So I did especially a lot of earth diagrams and data dictionaries, etc. But also I prepared requirements for BI reports developers. And SQL I needed in both projects. So SQL helped me to check data, to check database, to check everything on my own, and saved me a lot of time. I didn't need to ask developers. So from this perspective, SQL was the most important for me, I would say. All right. And because we just finished the second project type, I will quickly check the chat. And Roman shared that it is not part of UML. In fact, yes, you are, but I am just thinking about it, about tools that I use. The tools usually dedicated to UML had this, so I just used my mind shortcut telling about it. But your comment is really cool. Thanks. And let's go to the next. The next project would be government projects, and we should define what it is, because we can have many different kinds of government projects. For example, when government is introducing some initiative like clean air, where you can get grants when you do thermomodernization in your house. But we will concentrate today on projects connected with digitalization, where vendors can have also their bite of cake. And in recent years, governments of many countries, including Poland, introduced digitalization to civil services, which is an area for different vendors and companies to participate in cool projects of different nature. Mainly, it is about enabling citizens to communicate in electronic way, submitting official applications, for example, 800 plus, and some social support forms that you can apply via bank and get money paid to your bank account. And there are also projects connected with easier authentication, sometimes control companies for anti-laundry or tax frauds like split or steer in Polish law. But we'll concentrate today on projects of digitalization of civil services with cooperation with banks, with really nice kinds of projects, because these are win-win projects for all the sides that participate. On one side, we have banks, and bank put money on one hand on integrations, on implementations, but they get a service for their clients that makes their clients happy. Sometimes they get regular payments with this. So it is the banks are more happy even. And for government, It is win-win because customer service in public services is relieved, right? For vendors, of course, they can earn money doing cool projects, and client is all happy because they get super function on account, which makes their life easier. And in a nutshell, about this kind of government projects, what we could say, the main difference between the other projects is that you don't deliberate here on needs and context analysis or scope definition. You just get a schema to implement, and some negotiations are possible at ZBP. This is Polish Bank Association. But more often you will be asking how to implement than doing some root cause analysis on why. This is just the specifics of this. And the next important is that you can't miss the deadline. You can't negotiate it. Government sets law that implies that from this date, for example, citizens can apply for 800 plus. And for banks, it is to be or not to be. The event is broadly announced in press, in media, and also most clients would like to check on the very first day the form, which can even collapse a bank. And it is also a prestige for a bank to be ready on time. And the other specifics of this is that these projects are very intense and short in time. For example, they can last 2 or 3 months. And all forms in all banks should be sending the same set of data. And all you can do is try to make it a little bit user-friendly for your clients, to give them some context help or something like that. But it must be, of course, in accordance with compliance and with legal of a bank. What is more, you must be doing a lot of coordination about requirements because they are changing all the time. They can be changing even a few times a day, and you must follow it. You must be synced. You must attend all conferences, etc. Every contact points. And also because of that, the timelines tracking is very important because the deadlines are pretty tough. And the legal and compliance is, I would say, first, very important priority. And banks are subject to the same legislation, but the interpretation of law by lawyers in different banks may differ. And you must be able to read and understand legal acts and work closely with legal and other business units, right? What is more, you should be also prepared to work with different vendors. For sure, with vendors of government domain system, on integration, on tests. And what is the most important, probably, you should be really stress resistant and able to quickly push issues forward. And effective communication skills are pretty useful here. When we speak here in this kind of projects about BA's role, especially, so just to summarize, because the projects are intense, short-term, high stress, so you should be prepared for not slept nights on testing, for example, before 0 hour. And but this is also pretty nice and adventurous time. Also, you must be supporting all channels with informations, procedures, instructions, some Q&A to clients' questions. including marketing informative campaign, right? You should be giving input to this as well. Probably web page content, some claims processes. So here very widely you should think about how this change is implemented, what it impacts, and manage them all. Next one, you probably would be a single point of contact and should manage who as well should be informed. For example, if some changes proposed in requirements might impact efficiency, like requirement that more than 15 kits can be added on application for 800 plus. This impacts efficiency. So you should consult these efficiency matters. You should also assess how many foster families are bank's clients. So how many people would be interested in this functionality, and help your decision makers to decide if to implement this or not. Because there are maybe some functions that banks might not implement for some reasons. And then about speaking about visions and scope, they are pretty not existent, as you will be getting schema, right? You will get requirements to implement and even test scenarios. So not a big place to be creative here. Planning, as I mentioned, very important because of tough deadlines. And then you will be putting main efforts on implementation and maybe some efforts on user interface a little bit for this context help, but mainly implementation. And yes, I already spoke about cooperation with stakeholders, internal and external. All right, so I can see that we don't have questions so far on chat. Yes, this kind of project isn't very maybe so popular in software houses, but who knows? Who knows? And let me then proceed to another project, which is project type, which is professional services. And let me give you a short definition what we understand here. These projects can be in many different areas. It can be in delivery, technical consulting, advice, trainings, etc. I will concentrate today on delivery projects, and generally definition for this kind of projects. It is long-term cooperation on providing of agreed list of services, usually standardized for standardized price, in agreed quality and on agreed time. So for example, we are doing ETL tasks and mapping data for financial reports, standard ones like balance sheet, cash flow, and income statement. Sometimes we were doing something a little bit customized. And we had a predefined price list for telling us which how many hours we can spend on which tasks, and what we can sacrifice on a task. And this kind of tasks have SLA. This is agreed with client, so it is very important to keep tracking this. And let me tell a little bit more, of course, still in a nutshell, but first, if you are doing such a project, you should set properly processes. Once it is decided what is exactly on client side and what is on our side, you can set all teams' processes, including how requirements preparation looks like, how development process looks like, testing, onboarding, and everything. This is BPMN is a really good tool to document it for the team. Also, you should standardize everything you can. It will be processes, documentations, because the goal is to make developers self-sufficient. For example, we had in this kind of project one format of documentation. It was in XLS, and we even validated this documentation. So the business person who was giving this requirement for our team knew exactly where they should fill in, etc. It was interactive. So this was very important, because when a team has 3 hours to produce a report, to map something, or to do some ETL tasks, there is no place that we can reverse this task and ask for more requirements. We should already get everything to have the work done in time. And also, this is very important to prepare for the team knowledge bases, instructions, procedures, and also because this is long-term cooperation, so the team might be fluctuating, right? This we need to have everything written down. And then you are able and you should stabilize this. And I mean here that BA here is you should set standards, and you should be assertive guardian of the standard formats provided. You should manage the change on client's business side. To make sure if requirements are provided in the proper format. So it is some part of this role is education of client on providing good quality of documentation. Also, it is very good to have some kind of radar or another automated ways to grasp immediately if something is custom. Because this would require your attention and support. And what more? Requirements management is important, especially requirements tracking, the process of making sure that we got everything right. This is very important. And also requirements reuse, I would say, because this is repetitive. The tasks are repetitive. We are doing all the same what we have. If something we are doing for the first time, we need to standardize it, stabilize it, and probably include in our list of services. But everything should be the requirements reuse is really useful here. And very important is communication plan, speaking about artifacts that are producing by BAs, and escalation path. This should be decided at the beginning. This should be communicated, validated with client, and used. Escalations, it is for being able to deliver the outcomes on time. And deadlines for this written down in SLA agreements are really usually tough, right? And speaking about maybe difference between normal project where BA is deeply involved in business needs investigating, etc., requirements eliciting, here you should approach differently. You should standardize all you can, concentrate on supporting custom things, and generally even the requirements should be eliciting themselves, right? You should have standardized documentation and the process, which could keep you out of these repetitive tasks. It should be standardized without your presence. And yes, then speaking about KPIs, I think I already mentioned a bit. They are very important in the project. Usually they are written down in agreements with clients. So it is important that also this knowledge was distributed in the team, that team was aware where they are, and KPIs must be tracked for being sure if we are still doing all right, if we meet client's expectation. And then maybe the most sad things in this kind of projects is that your role is considered done when you standardized and stabilized the processes, the cooperation, and delivery team is self-reliant to go further way without you. Well, this is just general approach because, of course, there may be some custom things, so some extent of BA support could be needed. But generally speaking, you perform the role well when you are when the team is ready for you to go away, I would say. And just maybe to summarize this BA role in this kind of professional services projects. First, the BA role is very important at the beginning, especially at the beginning of the project, because you need to do a lot of planning. Even it is useful here to allocate efforts on preparation of requirements management plan. I know it is always good to have it in the projects. In some projects, there is no time for it. But in this kind of project, you really should find time to produce this artifact, I would say, because it is a long-term cooperation. And this is a document that sets standards of how this project and requirements and everything is conducted, right? And the development process. So, and next one about eliciting. I think I already mentioned to you that we standardized the process, we standardized the artifacts. Requirements should be eliciting themselves. So if we have well-trained, fully aware business and templates for documentation, it should really do here. And next one, vision and scope. Here it is non-existing, we can say. Of course, unless you participate in very early cooperation with client on preparation solution for these professional services, if you advise client what could be in the scope. But generally speaking, in the ongoing project, you will not be preparing that. What is next and last? Yeah, I already told you that we should be prepared to go away at some moment of time, leaving the team working smoothly and leaving them with all tools to stabilize their best performance. Yeah. And speaking about going away, we also soon will be going away because this was my last project type that I wanted to share with you. And with the same, our webinar will be finishing slowly. So yes, this is time for Q&A. And I quickly check the chat, but I don't see any new questions. So guys, this is the last chance if anyone wants to ask anything. But I will just give you very last chance. All right, thank you then. So if we don't have any other question, then I would like to thank you so much for participating today. And I will give the floor back to Andrei. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Anna. Actually, it was quite interesting for me, especially in the meaning of governmental projects, because I have never taken part in this one. So it was interesting to hear from your point of view how it looks like, and also this also like unusual part of special services, yeah, or not so special. How to
professional services.
Professional services. Yep, right. Yeah, so it's also some kind of unusual stuff. So I actually got some kind of new and interesting insights. Thank you, Joanna, for sharing with us.
I can
thank
see,
you guys.
Andrea, I can see that Halina gave us a question, so maybe
Oh, sure. Yes.
we still have some time for me to answer. Halina is asking, what is the difference between the professions of business analyst and data analyst, and can one work in the profession of another? Right. Yes. Thank you, Halina, for this question. And this is connected with a business analyst, when is giving a task to do straight business analyst project, will do it. If they are given data project, they will do it. But of course, if you are interested, if you want to be specialized in data analysis, there are paths in our specialization. Even in SoftServe, we have, as I know, we can choose a path to be data, connected with data, connected with process analysis, etc. So if you are interested in data analysis, so reporting projects, data projects are really for you, right? But it doesn't mean that being a business analyst, you cannot do this project or that. I did in my professional life different kind of projects, including standard business analysis or data projects, and it gives you always the occasion to learn and just to get to know what is your most area where you are mostly interested. So it doesn't exclude, right? But you can always go further and be more specialized in one or the other.
Next part of the question, and what is in common?
I have completed data analysis. I think because you completed data analysis, so I assume that you are interested in especially in that. I would maybe recommend also to check some courses on standard business analysis, because in my opinion, if you have both skills, it would be for you more convenient. You would be more thriving in different projects and in different challenges, dealing with different situations that we might have in projects. But having completed these data analysis courses, I think you already have a very good step to start thinking about certification in this direction and just start doing this kind of projects. Because I know also from me that the most I have learned in my life, I have learned not only from certifications, but mostly on real projects. Okay, thank you.
And I may also add some kind of 5 cents regarding this common and different stuff in the data and the data analysis and business data analysis, if you don't mind, of course. In data, the common stuff is that you need to derive the insights from the data. You need to work mostly on the data sources and understand how to choose these data sources, how to work with them, how to align them, how to let's say not to create, but why do you need to create the ETL process, for example? This is the difference. So BA should know why, the answer to why, the question why, yeah, and the data analyst mostly should know how to do it, how to map data, right? The BA with data focus may not know how exactly to map, but maybe she or he may know that why they need to do it and what kind of. So I would say that data analyst works mostly like on the deep level with data than the business data analyst. Business data analyst is mostly works on the high level and let's say mostly close to the business side, I mean business stakeholders. But yeah, there is no clear, let's say, line or clear measure where the data analyst may end up and the business data analyst starts. So it depends on your skills, your interests in different technical stuff and so on. You may just
This is a good point, Andriy, and also because in projects sometimes there is only one role for business analyst or data analyst, and then you should cover both parts.
If you can, of course, if you have sufficient knowledge.
And especially if you have to. But in these roles, in these hybrid roles, we learn most things, I would say. Okay, guys, I don't see any more questions, so probably I hope I didn't lose any question.
No, you don't.
No. All right.
Okay, thanks everyone. Soon you will get, you'll be notified that we'll get a new session. So follow our announcements, stay tuned. And if you have any requests or any ideas, what kind of topics you would like to hear from us or from our experts, just let us know and write us down in our social networks.